Warning: the following program contains adult language, adult themes, and spoilers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good evening and welcome to this week's episode of This Week's Episode. I am your host, Evan Goldstein, and with me as always is the overzealous business class passenger, Karen Randazzo.
Do you really want me to say it?
The old-fashioned guy, Kris Randazzo.
I should be watching Ahsoka.
And the negotiator, Angie Fernot.
Do you want a pill?
We here on this week's episode talk television. This week was my pick. I chose Hijack, Season 1, Episode 1, Final Call. But before we get into that, here's your weekly reminder that you can get in touch with us at mail@geekade.com. Just let us know that you're talking to us in the subject line. Say, hey, this week's episode, peeps. And just let us know what we should be watching. Tell us what you think about the show. Tell us how you feel about the shows that we talk about. Just interact with us, please. We're lonely. But before we jump into that hijack, which was, how we doing, guys and gals?
I'm excited for Friday.
Friday.
What's Friday?
Friday is my first ever gallery show, officially.
That's correct.
Oh,
I am so proud of you, girl.
putting the gal in gallery.
Hey, that should have been
Somebody
the name
throw
of the
him
show.
out of here.
All right, let me just write that down. Putting the gal in gallery.
Wow, how did I not think of that?
Yeah, finally getting some good art into a gallery in this town. Not a bowl of fruit or, a sailboat.
Yeah, so I'm pretty
schooner.
excited.
Schooner is a sailboat, stupid head.
It's gonna
Well,
be
you know what?
It's gonna be myself and 4 other people from Tales of Cape Fear, and I am like the headliner of the show because I organized it, and I'm really looking forward to doing this. And I shared it with a bunch of people today, and I'm also slightly nervous and want to throw up, but I'm also excited. So it's cool. I don't know. I was just like, it's really neat, and I thought I should put it out in the ether and something that timestamps that this is like my first real gallery show. It's going to be at the Aces Gallery, which is run by the Arts Council of Wilmington, our town. So it'll be on display for a few weeks. Not that we have anyone here that's local who listens, but like, I still feel like it's like really cool to be like, this is it. This happened, and this is when it happened. And I actually have a second gallery show at another gallery in town lined up for early next year.
I'm so
That's
proud.
so exciting.
Oh, brag much?
Proud.
Thank you.
That's what we call a humble brag, sir.
I'm trying to like celebrate accomplishments because
Exactly. Don't you poop in her cereal.
Right. Thank you. God, I'd probably eat it anyway. I really fucking love cereal.
Ooh, what kind? I had Special K for breakfast, and it was pretty okay.
That's
but,
so
Yeah, but do you have your
Boring.
own gallery show?
Yeah,
no,
right?
But
Chris's gallery show is just cereal with poop in it.
Homemade pizzas and whatnot.
But no, I am
and super, 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 super congratulations to you. You are
you.
well deserving of this. All ridiculous joking aside.
you
So
guys.
I have a thing to say, and I'm very proud of my wife. Very, very proud. 2 weeks ago, we did another show, a local zine show, and what I loved best about that show. It was a rough show. It was like the building was like overheating. It was just situationally, it was rough. It was a good time, but the best part about it is before we were setting up at the show, we were talking to the showrunner, and I happened to be just outside of the conversation, and he turned to Ange and he went, yeah, just so you know, it's like you are like one of our really big local celebrities.
What?
And that noise that she just made, she made that for realsies.
It was weird.
I was so proud of her.
It's very weird. I was like, I'm not a draw. And he is like, you are for this event. And I was like, what the fuck?
But like drawing is what you do.
Yeah. It's
Oh, God.
It's
really, you got to get him under control, Karen.
It's a little
Like
offensive.
I have any control over anyone who lives in this house.
Get that man a leash. So yeah, that was
So
cool.
we have
what else?
2 celebrities on this podcast because Kris was a bit of a celebrity last week too.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, that was an interesting recording editing for me, mister. How is running a live SAG show for you?
It was pretty fun. You know, we've done live shows before, but usually whenever we had to do a live show with me there, but Dan not, we had like Dean and Matt Much run tech, and it was just me.
I'm very proud of it.
Which was, you know,
got it done, got it taken care of,
got it done. Yeah, we made it happen. Yeah, this last week was a really interesting experience for me. I got flown out to the Stone Age Gamer store in Salem, Ohio, because we're celebrating the company's 16th anniversary. So we had a Sweet 16 party where we did a sale all day long, and I had an after party where we gave people store tours. We sold tickets, and the people that had the tickets were able to basically shop the back room, the basement, and the attic. Sorry, the upstairs.
I've seen that horror movie.
And then afterwards, we all did a live podcast recording, which was really cool. I got to meet a couple of our Discord listeners, and yeah, it was awesome all around. I had a really good time. I had got recognized. So like I went there a couple days ahead of time, and we did. So they sent me out there to take care of, just, you know, be a part of the event, hang out, whatnot. I don't think they were. They didn't expect me to do what I did, which was be me. Now, Evan knows that because we used to work together, I've spent a long time working retail. And when I go into a retail store and when I go into a retail store as an employee and things are not the way they should be, I take that personally. How
much organization did you do?
The store makes a hell of a first impression, but from behind the counter, I had some issues with the way things were being run, and I just kind of re-merchandised the whole store, which was that was my couple of days. I just went in there and took care of business for several days. It was hard work. I mean, as somebody who used to work retail and does not currently work retail, I was on my feet for a lot more time than I'm used to. You know, so that hurt. But outside of that, it was extraordinarily fun because I do really like that kind of stuff. I've always gotten a kick out of merchandising is one of my favorite things to do. So I just re-merchandised the whole store. But like on the first day that I was behind the counter, the first customer who walked in the morning saw me walk out of the back room and was like, "Hey, it's the YouTube guy." I was like, "Whoa." It's like, "Yeah, man, I love your Zelda videos. I've been watching them. They're awesome." It's like, "Are you kidding me right now?" It's great. And that happened a couple of times over the weekend. Yeah, I got some really nice feedback from some people who were shy, but were also, I guess, made less so. Just really happy that I sat down and talked to them, and so it was just a really, really fun week. It was a very exhausting week, but a really, really fun week.
Awesome.
Super happy for you, man. That's great.
Awesome. Speaking
I'm
of,
happy for me too. I got a promotion too.
Congratulations.
What?
Yeah.
Are you the assistant to the assistant manager now?
They really wanted me to move to Ohio. They're like, "Come out here and run our store." It's like,
how about open one in
not.
Jersey? There you go.
Believe me, I've brought that up. What's wild is they have enough stock. They have enough product in that location to do that.
Yeah.
Twice, at least. There is so much product in that building. It is borderline obscene. But no, we're not quite ready to open up another retail store yet because they haven't really gotten the one they have under control.
Well, I don't know. All they need is a good Kris. And it happens.
Listen, some states have incentives right now if you move to them from another state.
I am not leaving New Jersey.
We've had this. It was a weird conversation via someone else's Facebook post that Kris was vehement about not leaving Jersey, and I was like, "It's just Jersey. It's okay."
It wasn't so much about being vehemently opposed to leaving New Jersey. It was so much of just like, no, Jersey's the fucking worst. It's like, bull fucking shit, Jersey's the worst.
It's not.
Bull fucking shit,
I just got
No.
rated the second best state to live in by some magazine.
Yeah.
New Jersey Magazine.
Trust me,
No.
take it from someone who left New Jersey. Outside of the fact that, like, I still don't love the snow. It is definitely a much better place to live than I had realized. Like, for sure.
There are benefits to everything, but there is the stereotypical you have to say, ugh, Jersey kind of thing. So,
Yeah, but you don't actually have to say that stuff. You can say it, but you don't have to. Because you know what Jersey gave me? Jersey gave me you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
So you want to bitch about New Jersey? How dare you? Jersey gave me you.
Was it what, Union City, New Jersey, to be specific?
And that place is a shithole.
There it is.
North Jersey can go scratch.
See?
South Jersey is wonderful.
Well, I'm side noting, 'cause speaking of Sweet 16s, someone celebrated their birthday this weekend, got their birthday presents, and someone got to play with raptors, birds of prey, if you will.
Oh, yes. I did see that.
So
I will forever be a ranger. Always, always. My D&D class is permanently ranger.
for Angela's birthday, I got her a falconry experience where she got to play
That
with
is so sweet.
birds of prey. Like, so I knew borderline what was going to happen. I knew that she was gonna handle like a hawk or a falcon of some sort, and that there was the possibility of an owl. And that was the big thing for me, for her. Like, I knew I wanted that part, but I wasn't 100% sure it was going to happen. And when they said out loud, you will get to handle a barn owl, the face that my wife made, you could hear the inaudible squee. She did not make noise, but her face contorted in such a way that it was audible. Like you could hear it without actually hearing it.
Like you can hear a picture.
Yes. Like you could hear a picture.
I got very excited.
And then she made me walk through the woods the next day. For like
I did. We
4
went
hours.
okay, so the thing is that Evan is totally underselling it because he took the time to plan out this falconry experience that I didn't even know was possible, and he knows that, like, I have wanderlust big time, and we have not gone on a real vacation. We've never taken our honeymoon. Like, we've never done anything big. So small trips are very important to me because I still, like, very much crave adventure in our relationship. And if we're going to live a life where, you know, we don't have children that we have to care for, and we have the kind of freedom that we do as, you know, just the two of us, then I want us to do things that we get to experience new stuff. And I was like really having a hard time recently, and things have just been a bit of a struggle, and he freaking whips out this like perfect
Easy.
birthday package.
It's a family show.
And no one ever.
Phrasing.
Are we still
And-
doing phrasing?
Is that a thing? That's how you get ants. Anyway.
Lada!
Danger zone.
When's that one coming back? Anywho.
So he is, as the perfect husband for me that he is, found a falconry experience, printed out like the paperwork on this experience. So like, to me, it was like an itinerary. He went on their website, he found the print-friendly version and printed out like, this is about how long this experience is. Here's information about what this is and, you know, who runs it. And then proceeded to find a hiking trail in the Blue Ridge Mountains. And I've always wanted to hike there. He picked a great trail. And then he printed out more itinerary information that gave me the length of the trail, the loop, some highlights of features of the trail that I can look for, and had it all printed out and in a perfect birthday package, in an envelope for me, so that I could see everything, know what I was getting into without knowing too much. And he handled the hotel reservation. So literally all I had to do was get in the car and say, "Take me."
Pack a bag too.
Oh yeah,
like, I didn't pack your bag.
Yeah, that's true. So like for me, the person who plans everything, runs everything all the time, and like is constantly having to be in control of things, to be able to trust someone enough that I could let go and know that it was going to still be awesome. Like, not a better gift ever.
So
that is a great present.
Off the hook for
as
another
someone
year.
who is also like that.
Yes. Yeah. So I've been so tired of being in charge of things in so many aspects of my life, and Evan was literally just like, I got this. And I got to sit in the car and read my pirate book and like look at the mountains and be excited about everything and like chase butterflies.
I've never seen one person get so excited about mountains. The words like, "This is awesome," came out so many times. Like, they're just hills. They're just large.
No. There was a
It's
point
just
when we were
green.
driving from the hotel to the hiking site, and we had to go through this one patch of like mountain road to get to the Blue Ridge Parkway. And this road, it was paved, but it was like the last time I was on a road like that was when I was in another friggin' country. There were like switchbacks. It looped around on itself so much and snaked its way back and forth so much up this mountain and did not have a guardrail or a shoulder.
Jesus Christ.
I've been driving for many years, and there were a bunch of times during this trip that I was like, "This is uncomfortable. Like, this is rough." Like, and I was leading this line of, I'm going to say like there were 4 cars behind us, and the one directly behind us was this Toyota, and I was trying to make it my job to lose the Toyota, and then every time I did, I went, "Oh, wait, are they still there?" I got nervous for the Toyota. Like, did they fall off? Nope, they're there. Okay, let's go again, kind of thing. It was fun. So I
Sounds
enjoyed
like my kind of trip.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was really, really cool.
Good times.
Well, thank you, honey.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Now I just have to figure
Happy
out.
big fat stinking birthday to you, man. You get to deal with giant birds and Evan's birthday package.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. So, what have we been watching? Let's talk about some television, because we have actually watched some since the last time we spoke.
Yeah. We made an effort.
What do you got, Kris? I'll go with you first.
Well, I wanted to talk about Strange New Worlds because it's freaking wonderful.
It is.
But
the one
we
I watched.
we still have one episode left. We're one episode away from being able to be, watch the whole season. So I didn't really want to comment on it too much, other than to say that it's a wonderful show. I love how it has the ability to change dramatically in tone from episode to episode, but still feel consistent. It's just a wonderful, wonderful show.
One episode was a live action cartoon. Like, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, that
and then
was
the next episode was like all about post-traumatic stress disorder and war and like really gruesome stuff. Like, and then the next episode was I don't know, something weird, and then there was a musical, and it was freaking great. This show's all over the map in the best way possible. The fact that it can maintain its tone like that is really, really spectacular.
But you didn't want to talk about
We
that.
just discovered that the lady who plays La'an had a significant 1 episode or 2 episode role on Doctor Who, and I was like, oh my god, that girl! Like, she's really good.
Instead, I'm going... No, go ahead.
I have only seen the one episode because I was a big fan of Lower Decks. Like, I love that cartoon. I think I was never big into Star Trek, and that cartoon was a really good introduction for me. And then when I heard that they were doing a crossover, I immediately thought what live action crossover with cartoon usually is, where the live action becomes cartoon, and they didn't. They went the other way.
Yeah.
And the voice actors from the cartoon played the live action, and apparently they modeled the cartoon characters off of those people, and it was fantastic.
It really was fantastic. I was really impressed with that episode. It was nice to see Beck and Boimler interacting with this crew and handling time travel, and those old scientists for TOS was just like, come on, good job. Knock that shit out of the park. Well done. Star Trek Strange New Worlds is a fantastic show that I kind of wish wasn't called Strange New Worlds. It's just not a very good title. It doesn't roll up, Star Trek Discovery, Deep Space Nine, Voyager. It just doesn't roll off the tongue,
It is the first outing of the Enterprise, right? That's what it's supposed to be?
I believe Enterprise actually takes place before this one.
Okay.
This is that Enterprise before Kirk became captain.
Okay, got it.
So like the pilot episode of the original Star Trek was Captain Pike.
And
So
got it.
that's and then they replaced him with Shatner and Kirk, etc., etc. But it's great stuff. It's a great show. But instead, I'm going to talk about a YouTube show that was brought to my attention that I'm only a few episodes into, but I'm completely and totally in love with. It is called Knickknacks. It is a Nickelodeon retrospective series.
Ooh. Okay.
And I mean, like, it's the premise of the show is every episode is dedicated to a different show. And the goal is to go through every show that has ever aired on Nickelodeon.
Damn.
In chronological order.
That's a lot of shows.
Yeah, it's a lot. Because not just shows that were made for Nickelodeon, shows that aired on Nickelodeon. If it aired on Nick, then it's going to have an episode, theoretically.
Are they doing all, like, Nick at Night stuff, too?
I don't know if they're covering Nick at Night. Like I said, I'm only a couple episodes in, but it looks like, I mean, geez, this guy's been doing it for like 6 or 7 years, and let's see, looks like the most recent episode was episode 96, which was the Nick hit list, which I think was still before Nick at Night was a thing. So yeah, I'm not sure. But, all right, so the first episode was really just like an introduction of, hey, here's what this show's going to be. Then that was kind of like the pilot episode, as it were. The first episode was about Cube, which is not something that I was familiar with at all. Cube was so originally there was broadcast television, and the way that he explains the difference between broadcast television and cable television, which was initially quite different from what people understood to be cable television. Like, it was always my understanding that broadcast is like, the stuff you get over the airwaves, and then cable television is the stuff you get through your coax cable. But that was actually pretty quickly changed way before the advent of actual cable television, because the TV that was broadcast TV was always a problem for people who lived in the mountains and things. So having the broadcast go to people's houses via coax cable was a regular thing long before the advent of actual cable television. And originally, when these people who worked for Time Warner wanted to kind of create this cable television as a sort of a premium television package, the FCC wouldn't let them, because it was basically, they said it was too similar to broadcast television. Like, if you're not doing something different, you can't do this. And I'm not entirely sure why that was allowed, but either way, they created this network situation called Cube, and it was interactive cable television. So you would buy this box, similar, like let's say similar to a black box like Nielsen ratings, and it came with a special remote, and there were like a set of different channels, and one of the channels was always set to these interactive shows that would broadcast live, and then there would be like polls and stuff in the middle of the show, or like occasionally they do like a choose your own adventure kind of a thing where somebody was live acting out a show and the audience could choose what would happen next. And this was back in the, God, I want to say the 60s or 70s.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the 70s when this was airing, the early 70s, which was really quite fascinating. This was this whole network called Cube, and it was through this that they got the FCC to drop all the regulations on cable TV, which is why cable TV got to be what cable TV eventually became. But one of the channels on Cube was the children's channel, which was, I think, channel 3. And what it was 12 hours a day of a show called Pinwheel. And that was the show that eventually became Nickelodeon. After Cube failed, well, not really failed, just kind of stopped being relevant, the people behind it decided to launch the very first all-children's network. And that was what became Nickelodeon. But Pinwheel was the only show that they kind of had on Cube, which is so crazy. Like, I remember Pinwheel as a kid. I was a huge fan of Pinwheel as a little kid. I loved watching Pinwheel. I was obsessed with Nickelodeon as a little kid. Mm-hmm. And Pinwheel was just this extremely formative show in my head. It's kind of similar to Sesame Street, except without any of the like teaching stuff. It was just a puppet show and a lot of random stuff. And what I didn't realize watching it as a kid was that there was so much content created for it by an extremely small team. Like, when it was on Cube, it was 12 hours a day of just Pinwheel. And one guy was in charge of writing all the songs and the skits. And it was this extraordinarily small team that had to come up with 12 hours of programming a day, which is just insane. And then when it moved over to Nickelodeon, it became less because they started doing these other shows. So I've watched the first, I guess, 4 episodes by now. The first one was all about Pinwheel, which was just really fascinating to watch. And then the other 2 were fascinating for different reasons because they are lost media, which there is a ton of lost media from the early days of Nickelodeon and the starting lineup of Nick, including most of Pinwheel. I think there was like a total of 600 some odd hours of this show between its run on Cube and Nickelodeon. There were 600 some odd hours of Pinwheel, and only like maybe 30 exist today. There was one official release on VHS called like the Best of Pinwheel in the mid 80s, and that was it. It's never been anything. So it is effectively lost media. But the other 2 shows are like completely lost media. There was a show called Nickel Flicks, which was like it was what's called package programming, where it's like, here's a bunch of old stuff, and we're just going to do host segments in between and then air all this old stuff. It was how they basically padded the lineup. And it was, you were able to, this show here, Nick Next was able to piece together what he could best guess was on the show, because the guy who hosted it is still around. I forget his name, but he's the Micro Machines guy. You know, the fast talking guy.
Yep.
He was the guy who hosted this show, and it had like a bunch of stuff like Flash Gordon and whatnot on it.
Interesting.
So it was a bunch of that, like old black and white shows that were pieced together to run on Nickelodeon. But the next episode was a show called By the Way that no one knows anything of substance about. There was a book written about the history of Nickelodeon that basically says kind of sort of what it was, and this other advertisement that said an extremely useless thing of what it was. Like, it's a show about kids being happy and being sad and being active and relaxing, and it just says nothing for like a paragraph. It's like nobody really knows what this show was, which is really wild. And both of those programs are just completely lost media. The Micro Machines guy had tapes of all this stuff, but his storage unit got closed. Like, there was some sort of misunderstanding where he didn't pay his bill on a storage unit for a long time, but he didn't know he wasn't paying the bill on it. Mm-hmm. And they sold all the contents of the storage unit, and that's it. That had all of his old tapes in it. So there's a possibility that someone out there has a bunch of old VHS tapes still of Nickelodeon stuff, but chances are it's all just lost, which is so weird and wild.
Amazing.
But so far it has been fascinating.
and you're only 4 episodes in.
I'm only 4 episodes in. So since By the Way didn't have any real information, they kind of went on this deep dive about the naming of the channel Nickelodeon, and like the fact that it kind of seems to be based on this old song about putting a nickel in the Nickelodeon to play some music, but that's not what a Nickelodeon is.
Okay.
So like even the original logo of Nickelodeon is a guy looking into theoretically you would think he's looking into a Nickelodeon, but that's not what a Nickelodeon is. He's looking into like a sound something or other, because that's not what Nickelodeons did. So the whole name of the network is kind of a misnomer, which is pretty wild. But yeah, it's called Knickknacks. It's on YouTube. It is really quite fascinating. Oh my goodness, there's a part 2. Ooh, this is interesting. So I had just finished the By the Way episode, but it looks like he added a part 2 as a 4.5, and I think they might have found some of the show. Let me see if I can look at the description and see what this is about. Show me. Oh, this was from... We never thought we'd find it, but here it is. Actual footage of By the Way, one of Nickelodeon's premiere shows in 1979. Learn exactly what the show was, who Josie was, and what the role it filled for Nick for years. So yeah, this one of the things just said it was hosted by Josie. Nobody knew what that meant. Oh, this is fantastic! I can't wait to watch this.
We'll have to link
How did
it
they
in the show
find
notes. Well, I just went to go look for the channel via search, and not as easy as I thought it would be. So we will definitely put a link in there, because like,
yeah, the YouTube channel is called Pop Arena, all one word, P-O-P-A-R-E-N-A.
That's why I couldn't find it.
Yeah, and then the show is called Knickknacks. Oh, I can't believe they found it! I can't wait to watch this. That's so exciting. Yeah, man, I'm totally into this. Like, as somebody who was just so completely obsessed with Nick as a kid, seeing so this actually came up because I was talking with boy, I wonder if I could find it just by scrolling through this scrolling through all these images here. I was talking to one of the guys in our Discord or on the SAG podcast recently. There was a cartoon on Nickelodeon. It used to air early, at least I'm pretty sure it was on Nickelodeon. Now I'm not even sure that it was. There was some cartoon that I thought was Spartacus, but it's not. I've went and looked into the old Spartacus cartoon, and that's not the one I'm thinking of. And I cannot remember the name of this show for the life of me. But it was some early morning adventure show. It was a cartoon, and I got nothing. I can't remember almost anything about it. But as soon as I do, it's gonna hit me like a. It's gonna hit me like a pin.
Flooding back.
Oh my goodness! Episode 38, Belle and Sebastian. I remember Belle and Sebastian. That was the kid who rode the big dog with the barrel around his neck, and then Danger Mouse, and then Banana Man. Oh man, I'm just the Star Trek
Man.
the animated series.
So
I'm so excited.
Every once in a while, you find a YouTube channel that just speaks to you.
Oh shit! Look at that. There's a Nick at Night episode 47. Wow, I was wrong with how early that went on. Yeah, episode 47 was Nick at Night.
Cool.
Yeah, weirdly, I was like a big Nick at Night kid.
Oh God, me too. I used to love Nick at Night.
Me 3.
I don't know why. Where's Lassie? Like, all right, there's Mr. Ed. There's the monkeys. I remember watching it there. Oh, Spartacus and the Sun Beneath the Sea. Is that it? Maybe I don't know. I'm crazy. This is gonna be a fun couple of months, because I'm just gonna be watching this in the background. It fetched the little koala. I remember that one.
This just makes me think about when my mom would be doing laundry when I was a kid, and she would always on her TV, for whatever reason, whenever I went in her room, it was like laundry night was always a night where like Nick at Night was playing like I Love Lucy, I Dream of Jeannie, Bewitched, and I would like sit on her bed, and I remember she'd make me fold socks because both of us fucking hate it, but I was the kid, so I had to do it. And
now I understand why you hate doing laundry now.
Right? And I would sit there and I would watch these shows with my mom, and like it's like such a distinct memory in my head. Like I can remember everything about the room, like the TV, like it just the whole thing. And it's so weird because I loved those shows when I was a kid, but I haven't watched them at all as an adult. I don't know why.
A lot of times, like, first and foremost, there's so much more to ingest now. And I have, unfortunately, every time, I shouldn't say every time, 9 times out of 10, when I go back to watch something that is like a fond childhood memory, I walk away going, I should have left that in my childhood. Because it just, like, your sensibilities change, or like times change, and whatever. But like, there's a certain joy of experiencing the new entertainment when you were a kid. It hit you differently. Like now, we're just pleased when we see decent television on TV now. It's not, I haven't experienced anything shockingly, oh my God, that's so new to me, I'm going to watch more of this. It's just to the point where it's like, wow, they're just telling this story well. So it's just a slightly different story, but better acting, or better special effects or whatnot. And back in the day, it was all brand new to us, and that's why it sticks. That's why it holds a place. So, well, that's fantastic.
I remember my sister and I used to watch so much. My sister was really into Lassie, and she was always asking for a collie. She just wanted us to have a dog, so she'd call it Lassie. I remember watching Lassie and Mr. Ed. And it's so weird, and Dennis the Menace, and it's weird thinking back to, like, we didn't care that it was black and white television so much. We were just, I guess we were just happy to be watching TV at all. But yeah, this is a really fun channel, and I'm really glad I found it.
Fantastic.
I do find it a little bit funny the way you've dived into this YouTube rabbit hole at the same time as we have put our son on a YouTube cleanse for, like, behavioral reasons.
Oh no.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not that he's done anything bad, but like there's a lot of negativity in the channels that he watches, and it influences him. And so we're like, hey, this week, no YouTube.
Yeah, we're just gonna call it quits on that for a week.
Watch something with narrative, that's fine. He's gotten big into Pokemon, like, go ahead, do that, but
see how you feel in a
like,
week.
cool it on these jackasses.
Yeah, I think there's been quite enough of quite enough dipshits on YouTube for the time being.
In that house for quite a bit, so
yeah, it's YouTube can be a place filled with really great information. It can also be a place of just completely intellectually dead, just nonsense.
Yeah.
And that's what he tends to gravitate towards. And yeah, it's just not something that I think he needs to be.
His time could be better spent.
Yeah.
But I'm sure the cleanse will help. When you remove and you find slightly different interests and whatnot. So I'm sure it'll work. Karen, let's move over to you. What do you got?
I was able to watch all of Good Omens season 2.
Son of a...
I will not spoil anything.
Thank you.
But I do want to talk about it in general.
Okay. Yeah.
People are like, oh my God, did you love it? Are you so excited? Because they know how much I love season 1, and the book has been a favorite of mine for over 20 years.
Yep.
So I will say that it was good.
Okay.
It was very weird for me as a fan coming from the source material to then see the TV show move beyond the source material. Like, that was just like, like, I know that it was made from the notes that Neil and Terry had made, planning for a sequel book that never happened. But that was never released to the public. So, the book is all we had for so long, and now all of a sudden there's new content with these characters, and it's weird. I didn't love it. The stakes in this were a lot lower.
Okay.
The first season is like, it's the end of the world. And the second season mainly just focuses on Crowley and Aziraphale and like this one problem that they have, which I don't want to say anything about it, but it's just a much smaller story.
It's not as insurmountable as the apocalypse, are you saying? Like, because that's what the first season was. It was the end of time.
Right. It
End of
is.
days.
It is not. It's not to the same degree. And it's much more focused on just them. Season 1 had all these like delightful human characters that you really connected to, and were interested in and rooting for, and all of this. And the human characters in this season weren't, it's not that they weren't likable, it's just like
They weren't interesting.
they weren't that interesting, didn't care that much about them. Like, I just wasn't as invested in them.
They didn't have any chemistry either. Their whole thing was that these two, there was supposed to be some sort of romance between these two human characters, and there was absolutely no chemistry between the two of them.
That's not good.
And I think they made a little bit of, like, a funny little bit of commentary on it at the end, where, like, the humans were like, you spent all this time thinking that, trying to get the two of us together, and, like, you don't get to decide for us because we're our own people. And I was like, okay, good point, but, like, if you could have shown us more of who they were as their own people outside of this, like, story trope, then I would have maybe cared a little more. John Hamm's fantastic.
Good.
And Tennant and Sheen are fantastic as well. There was a lot of, like, cool, good, like, flashbacks to, like, other periods in time of Crowley and Aziraphale. Those were fun, including a cameo by Peter Davison, who is David Tennant's father-in-law and also the Fifth Doctor. So that was a fun little Easter egg that he got his dad a job. Yeah, it was good. And, like, then there was the ending, which I think a lot of people were mad about. I don't know, it made sense to me. And also, the end of season 2 is not the end of the story. There's a planned season 3, which just needs to get greenlit. But people were mad about the ending, and I'm like, well, the characters did what they did, and this is what happened. Like, it's not necessarily a happy ending, but, like, that would not have made sense in these circumstances. And then other people are mad that, like, there's a planned season 3, but that's it. And they want more. They just want the story to keep showing. Like, we're lucky to be getting this extra content as it is. Like, and if the showrunners or the original storytellers, if that's how far they want the story to go, like, don't be greedy. Like, people who are writers know what they're doing and, like, know where the story should end. I don't care how much more you want to know. Like, there's stories have a beginning, middle, and end.
And that's the thing, like, how many times have we seen them stretch out a story because somebody wants to make more of it, and it just should have ended, I don't know,
right,
4 seasons previously. Like, let
this
them
show
tell their
doesn't
story.
deserve that.
Yeah, let them tell their story, and that's enough.
This story is a trilogy. I don't know. That's kind of how I looked at it. I think it's interesting that you're talking about the stakes being so much lower, just because I guess I don't remember season 1 all that well, but it did seem like the stakes weren't, I guess they didn't seem as immediate, but the whole, they were trying to stop effectively the end of everything again. Or at least that's how I understood it. And unless I'm
season 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, but also you kind of didn't really know that for most of the show, I feel like.
Well, I mean, I guess you didn't really know for sure that's what the end game was. It just always kind of, I guess I just kind of assumed that a war between heaven and hell would be the end of everything. But
are you talking about season 1 or season 2?
Season 2.
Oh. Well, I don't know. It's hard to talk about without spoiling.
Right, yeah, I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. I'm not mad that they continued it, because I think there's definitely more material beyond what happens next after season 1 / the end of the book. I think there's more story to tell there. I just don't think they need to keep going forever. And it's like, and then on Tuesday, Crowley had a sandwich. Like, you're going to run out eventually.
Like, don't get me wrong. I'll watch David Tennant eat a sandwich.
Forever.
I think we all would. But
My friend just sent me a link of him doing a dramatic reading of Shania Twain's I Feel Like a Woman. Which I'll send you guys a link so you can
watching the two of them
put it in the show notes.
Doing that little show that they were doing during the quarantine, where both of them looked disheveled. Like at one point in time, Tennant was like hiding in his bathtub or something. Like it was weird, but it was so entertaining. Those two have
the two of them are
amazing
just
chemistry,
fantastic together.
Good stuff.
So
good
I
stuff.
do hope that season 3 gets greenlit. I also know that if it doesn't, there will be a graphic novel. Well, I think at this point it's going to happen whether the show exists or not, because they had a successful Kickstarter for it, and my friend pledged to get me a copy of the book, so psyched
nice
about that. But yeah, I have mixed feelings, not more positive than negative, just not entirely like, oh my god, yet another home run. And that's how you know that I am a true fan of Neil Gaiman, because I can, I don't have to love every single thing he does. I can still appreciate it.
Well, that's the thing that happened with me and Moon Knight. Like, I enjoyed it. It wasn't really made for me. It was made for everybody to enjoy. That doesn't make it bad. That just doesn't make it for the Uber fan. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes. I don't think I've ever related to you more.
There it is. There it is. Well, fantastic. Honey.
I still highly recommend that you guys watch it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
we
were
still
going
plan to.
There were two shows that we were going to start watching, and it was like, we only have this amount of time. It was that and, Only Murders in the Building, season 3.
Yeah.
Like, we were going to start watching that last night. And it was just like, the first episode was an hour long. We're like, no. So,
well, get back to me when you've seen it.
we will.
We
absolutely will. Hun,
Yes.
what do you got?
What do I got? Well, I've started going back and watching Glow because I never actually finished that show. So I had to go.
Neither did the show.
I had to go back to the beginning because I couldn't remember fuck all about it, and I was like,
Oh, that's right. It doesn't end.
Nope.
yeah. I was getting like really
straight up doesn't end.
Yeah, and like that was the thing. I was getting like really into it, and I'm like halfway. I'm almost done actually with the second season. And they get the notification that they're being moved to the 2 a.m. time slot so that they can be canceled. And I remembered at that point that you had said the show had never ended. And I was like, it feels as though the writing was like reflecting real life in a way. And I don't know if they actually knew that or if that's how Glow was operating. Like, I don't know because I haven't finished it yet. But I've been on this like wrestling TV kick. So that led us into Heels. And since I'm not done with Glow, I'm not done with Heels either. I just figured I'd be like, I'm watching it. When I'm done, I'll talk about it. But
let me just clarify that Glow was renewed for another season, and then Netflix said, "Never mind." So
Oh,
it
for real?
was written for another season. It was like, all right, we're gonna finish this story. It's gonna get one. It was written to have a final season. That was the plan, and then Netflix said, never mind.
Fuck you, Netflix. Seriously.
Fuck Netflix forever for that. I will never not be pissed at them for that fucking nonsense.
I'm just more upset. Well, okay, so then moving on to another wrestling show, Evan and I started watching the show Heels, and it has Stephen Amell as one of the lead characters, and the guy is he is the older of two brothers. He is from a wrestling family. His dad had a ring, and it was like a small wrestling league in their area. And he inherited it, and we are kind of like in the middle of him like having already inherited it, been running shows for a while and kind of struggling. And he has a younger brother who like clearly has issues.
Super jealousy issues.
Yeah, but what I'll say about this show that I found really fascinating is like Evan and I don't know, hun, if you felt quite as the same as I did, but like I did not expect to be as enthralled with this show as I was.
No, I agree with that. Number one, this show made me look at what else Amel has done.
Yeah.
And realized this guy has been like, what is it, like
Wasted
pigeonholed into
on
the
CW.
CW because granted his southern accent is not the best.
He gets better at it over time, thank God.
As it's going, he's getting better at, but he is a really good actor. Like surprisingly good actor. And I'm not the biggest wrestling fan. I do like old timey, like, you know, WWF style, like early stuff. And this is, you know, area wrestling leagues where it's just, you know, 7 wrestlers and they wrestle in their hometowns and whatnot. And it's enthralling. Like it's really, really well done. And like, I'm shocked. I did not, I got it, acquired it for her, so my lovely wife could get her wrestling fix. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of surprised that it sat on the Plex for as long as it did. I said, hey, you want to check this out? We'll watch it. And then episode 1 led into episode 2, led into like, and we got hooked, which says something for me because I'm not as engrossed. So like that was top 3 things that happened over the weekend during her birthday celebration. She got to play with an owl. We went on a hike, and one night we sat there and we watched like wrestling. And I paid attention. Like that's me being a really good husband because like that shit's ridiculous.
That was actual wrestling too. We were watching AEW. It was
ridiculous. And this show is not. It's a drama. It's really good, and even the wrestling stuff is well done. It's good storytelling. So
yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting too because like all of the characters have layers of complexity. Like Stephen Amell's character as a main character, not unlike when he was on Arrow, is not just a good guy. There are like sides to him. He has flaws, and he has moments where he's imperfect, and there are episodes where you're kind of questioning, like, is he kind of a villain in this show? Like, is he a little bit more of an antagonist than a protagonist? And I just think that made it really, I don't know, it just made it more compelling. It made the characters have more depth, and the way that they're playing out the storytelling, some of it is very like predictable tropes of, you know, this character is doing this and they're shady, or this character is like kind of a douche and they're going to act this way. And like you're still going to have that, but I think that the execution is done well enough that it's engaging. And again, the wrestling side of things is just so cool to me. But yeah, at the end of every episode, I would just be like, holy crap, I'm ready for the next one. Like, I can't believe this is over. And it's been a while since I've been watching a TV show where I'm like, I don't want to turn this off. Like, I don't want to take a break. I'm a person who, I've said it here before, I'll watch stuff like 10 or 15 minutes at a clip. And we were getting to the end of episodes and I was like, I need to know what happens next. Like, it's not just like, oh man, we're getting close to a season finale. Like every episode I was like, I'm compelled by this story. I'm compelled by these characters. I want to know more.
I concur. It's very well done. It's a good show. Good show. All right. I'm going to wrap this up. Real quick side note. I started watching My Adventures with Superman just to see what they did with that anime. It's okay. It's Superman. It's okay. It's a young version of Superman. I wanted to watch the new Justified show, like it's Justified in New York, something or other. And before watching that, I'm doing a rewatch of the original Justified because that is an amazing show, and I forgot how good it was. And Timothy Olyphant is amazing.
Oh, that was the other show we were watching, hun, that I was talking about, where I was like, this show is really good.
Yeah. And that's my time filler kind of show. Good.
My mom broke her foot this summer, and so she's been homebound and on the couch a lot, and so I told her to watch Justified, and she's loving it.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
I
glad.
talked to her after the first couple episodes, and she was like, it's kind of violent.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's why it's so good.
Yep.
But now she's like, deep into it, and she's almost done with it. She's like, that Walton Goggins, he's amazing. I'm like, yeah, he is.
The new show is called Justified City Primeval.
City Primeval.
Yeah.
And
And
I
it's
didn't
in
want to start
Detroit.
that before watching, like, just giving me a full refresher on that world. But what I really want to bring up is a real surprise to everyone in this house by how much we enjoyed it. We watched the whole first season of Twisted Metal.
I heard that was genuinely great.
It is so entertaining. Everybody's doing a great job in it, like the acting wise. Anthony Mackie and Stephanie Beatrice play the two leads. Thomas Hayden Church is in it. Will Arnett is the voice of Sweet Tooth. Like, it's
But he's played by Samoa Joe.
yeah.
His body is
his body is this very large human being.
another wrestler.
And as we're watching like the first 3 episodes, like I hear the voice and I didn't look. I'm like, I know that voice. It's Batman, the Lego Batman guy, and it's just it's his voice under, like, it's as if he's wearing the mask. So it's so entertaining. If you've actually played the game, just so far, I've recognized every car that they highlight in it. Like, there's a bunch of random vehicles, and like there was a Chevy HHR in one of the episodes. That the lead car, the ice cream truck, like, they're all in there, which is a nice little Easter egg for those that actually played the game. And Anthony Mackie is charming as fuck. I don't know what else to say. Him and Quiet, his character name is John Doe. Stephanie's character's name is Quiet. Like, they have great chemistry. They play off of each other really well. Seeing Thomas Hayden Church as the bad guy, lol, is great. It's just, I was so surprised.
Still calling him lol.
Of course.
This guy's done so many things with his career.
He's
Yes,
never
yes.
going to
He's
be
never gonna
anything.
not
Never
be
going to be
Lol
not
from
lol.
Wings.
Lol and maybe Sandman. I'll give him Sandman, but outside of those, that's it. It's the only 2 things I know him from. But yeah, I highly recommend it. It's a short season. The episodes fly by. At one point in time, what's the preacher's name? In Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Stephanie Beatrice's character marries a guy.
Fuck.
God damn it. He is.
He was the crazy guy that she didn't marry him, that she was going to marry him.
Oh, I know who you mean. I can't think of the character.
He
Ricky
is-
Lake. I just remember the storyline.
Yeah, wait, hang on. Jason
Mantzoukas.
Yeah.
Jason Mantzoukas.
Oh my god, I love him.
Yeah.
He plays the like, because there's factions in this world. John Doe plays a milkman, which is he's just a delivery guy. He goes from
John Doe doesn't play a milkman. He is a milkman.
he is a milkman. He goes from point A to point B doing deliveries, and this show is revolving around him getting a really big job, which if he completes it, he gets invited into one of the cities where he then gets to live. And it's a big deal because if you're outside the wall, you're not allowed in. And the underlying, like, we don't really know what he's doing or what he's transporting or what he's going to get, or like, but it's not cool. And then when you find out, it's like, he went through so much shit for that. Oh, you're an evil bitch. I know you're an evil, and like, it's so entertaining. And I was pleasantly surprised at how much I liked and was drawn to the character of Sweet Tooth. He's a showman. He is psychotic. He's one of my favorite parts of this show. So highly, highly recommend this one. It was a really, really good time. I just hope it continues because, like, I haven't heard anything about it. I'm pretty sure we are done with it. Like, I think we watched the whole thing. It's It's the first season is 10 episodes. So I hope we get more because there is a cliffhanger-y kind of situation going on. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, completely out of left field. Total surprise. Lots of fun. Good time. So, all right. I'm good with that. Let's take the break because we do have another show to talk about, which I can't really wait to get to. So, just stay tuned for a minute, listen to some commercials, and we'll be right back.
Hi everyone, Kris here. Podcast listening is free, but podcast creation is not. That's why the Geekade Patreon exists. In an effort to help us pay the bills, we've got a Patreon page set up where you can gain access to our monthly podcast topic schedule, get early access to many of our shows, and more. If you'd like to help support Geekade and keep these shows running week after week, head over to the Geekade Patreon page, linked in the show notes of this very podcast.
And we're back. Thank you so much for listening to our probably one commercial. Okay, let's dive in. It was my choice this week. I had acquired this show, I don't know, when it first started airing, and the only thing that drew me to it was Idris Elba. So, with that being said, Hijack.
What more do you
don't need any more than
sir?
that.
Really
You don't need any more.
No, there was one thing you needed. You needed those gold contacts in his eyes.
No.
They were so
You
cool.
do not. You don't need that. It's a bonus,
No,
but you don't
he's
need
just fun without him.
it. Hijack is an Apple TV Plus show. It is about a plane on its way to London from Dubai that gets hijacked. And it is a 7-hour flight. And I read somewhere that this is in real time. I didn't feel that during the episode, but that would be awesome.
You know why you didn't feel the real timeness of it? Because you didn't have a clock going beep.
Right.
Boop,
There was no 24-ness of it, which made
I
that
know.
so dramatic.
I didn't feel the real timiness of it because my recent plane trip took a lot longer to do absolutely everything.
Idris Elba plays Sam Nielsen, who is apparently the best negotiator ever, and he's on a plane that gets hijacked. Excuse me. In episode 1, we get into the hijacking. We don't know why. We don't know what the end game is, but we do know Idris Elba is going to help, and he's in control because I felt okay at the end of this episode with the final words of him saying, "I'm going to help you." I went, okay, this is going to be fine. These hijackers are going to be okay because that man's sultry tones are amazing.
His body language where he's just like, yeah, I'm comfortable and I'm confident, whatever.
I'm sorry, the enjoy your movie. What? Or whatever else you're going to be doing so you're not bothering me. Ooh, that gave me chills.
Yeah, Evan was like maybe a little too into that commentary. And I was like, sir.
So good.
I do want to know what's going to happen to that guy, though.
Oh yeah. It's you're getting bits and pieces about throughout the plane of certain character types. I'm kind of hoping that we get a little bit more of all of them because there's a sprinkling of every type on this plane, and I want to see all of their little bitty stories progress. Because I feel Idris is going to control everything on the screen because that's the type of presence he's exuding here. What did you guys think?
It was pretty intense.
Yeah, I was very pulled in. I thought it's funny because I walked away from it going, that was a lot of fun. And then I realized I really shouldn't say that about the plane hijacking. Like, that's not a good thing to say.
No.
But it really pulled me in. Like the whole time before the hijacking started, I was like, okay, who's the hijacker? Is it Idris Elba? Is it the guy who's running late? Is it the little soccer girl?
Is it the soccer girl? Teenagers hijacking a plane.
You know? I mean, you never know.
You really don't. You're right.
Shout out to the woman is playing his ex-wife, who was another significant Doctor Who role.
Was
there
that
you
right?
go.
She was a Doctor Who.
Yes,
alum?
she's been in a lot of things actually, but she was in a season 1 episode.
Was she the one that was on that news?
Yeah.
Yes, I knew it.
Oh, you sticker. You're good. Yeah.
What the hell was that news station?
Satellite.
Satellite 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I so far 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 hijackers have taken control of the plane. You have the guy that's translating, the girl, the old-fashioned guy. Oh, well, no, and then the guy that's up front. We know the guy that was running late is involved in some way, shape, or form, but I don't think he's involved because he wants to be. I don't know what's going on with the woman that was at security who gets called away. Like, there's so many things have
Yeah,
started
what the hell
going.
is that about?
Like, that was... Well,
Are kids missing or something?
Yeah.
That was upsetting.
Yes.
What was that? Who was she? Who was the guy in the pictures? Felt like I was supposed to recognize him.
The guy... What pictures?
They kept showing pictures on her, like mantelpiece and stuff.
Oh, so the only thing I saw of her interactions were she let the guy's bag through that had the guns in it. Like the guy who had that bag was the guy who was running late. So because he was so panicky, I feel like he's being controlled in some way, shape, or form. We don't know. Episode 1 did such a great job of just hooking you and getting you engrossed in and giving you enough story beats to keep you going.
I thought in particular the confrontation between the pilot and the first officer was like really
rough.
intense and well done.
Oof.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I really liked how she didn't give up. Like,
No.
she, like...
Yeah, it's just like, no, fuck you. It's like, I'm gonna beat you with this water bottle.
Yeah, that was brutal. And they made it, like, unclear at first as to whether or not she survived his attack, which just,
Right.
like, further elevated the suspense. And I really...
When the hijacker turned to the stewardess, the homewrecker, and like when he picks up the iPad that has the pilot's family on it, and then looks at the stewardess like, you did this, and I was like, oh damn, oh, you're just mean now. Like she was the direct reason you got into that room because of how whatever's going on with them, and it's just I don't recognize anybody else other than Idris Elba and his ex-wife. Like everybody else is new to me, and the home front side, there's a definite story there where Idris's relationship with his ex-wife, and now the wife is now seeing with someone else. Apparently they have a son who has a problem with the new boyfriend because he's a white cop, and like there's extra story there that is unnecessary because there's so much story at the airplane, but like it made me want to be more involved with that side of the story as well. Like nothing seems to be fluff, I guess, and they got a lot of story points going on at this time, so it's
I did recognize somebody else in the cast when I was looking through to see who his ex-wife was. I noticed, God, what's her name? Torchwood girl. Eve Miles.
Eve Miles. Okay. Who is she?
She's not, I don't think she was in this episode because I didn't see her, but she's higher or sooner in the IMDb cast listing than his ex-wife, so I'm hoping like she gets involved and like maybe she's a law enforcement officer on the ground in London
You're changing your pants.
And perhaps she will be changing her pants.
She's awesome.
She's amazing. So I'm excited to see her if, we keep up with this.
Yeah, the fact that they are treading the racism line on both avenues of the story, like the racism at home with the new boyfriend and the son, like that conflict, and then the old golfer dude that's like, they're speaking Arabic, like, this is racism. Like,
I didn't get a sense of that from the kid with the boyfriend. I just got the sense that he was like,
the kid doesn't like him because he's a white cop, and he feels that guy is racist towards black people. That's flat out. That's how it was.
Yeah, he was like, I got a bike that doesn't move, so you guys don't have a reason to pull me over for no reason or something.
Yeah, I guess I didn't take it as like him specifically.
He just, I mean, like,
I guess the idea is that the cop is racist against the kid, not that. The kid is discriminating.
I took it that way. Not that specifically he was a white cop, just that he was a cop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm more picking up on the whole.
Yeah, well, you're right though.
It.
You're absolutely right though. When he made that comment, like, what are you supposed to think he's talking about? I mean, that's the whole. I feel like there's going to be a thing in Dubai with not only the TSA, I don't know if it's TSA there, but the woman there, plus the guy who was in the tower. Like,
he totally smells something's up. He
knows something's up.
I don't think I believe this guy.
That's what I like best about the show. They're throwing out threads that, like, I want to pull on. Like, show me more of this story. Like, yeah, I get it. Like, yeah, he's out of our world now. Like, granted, we don't need to see the guy in Dubai anymore because they left that airspace. Technically speaking, that should be done. Are they going to be heading directly to London? Who knows? Like, I don't.
I like how, like, that one dude is just like, not my problem anymore, and the other guy's like, I feel like this plane might be getting hijacked and people are in danger. I should probably investigate this more than 5 seconds. And the other dude's just like, well, off to go eat a sandwich. Fuck those people forever. Bye-bye.
The birthday guy's like doing that chin tap.
Being a white guy and not being a white guy.
I feel something's going on.
But this definitely had me feeling like when he was able to get that text through to his ex-wife before they shut off the Wi-Fi. Mm-hmm. Like, then the next scene with her, I'm like, check your phone. Like, I was that invested in it.
Yeah. I do like the fact that I knew going into this show that he was a negotiator. Now, that's all I knew. I did not know it was
I didn't know that.
No, I didn't.
I heard that somewhere, but the way they're presenting his character, it felt more like he was like a hostage negotiator, not a corporate negotiator.
Yeah, he was way too calm. Like, I understand being calm under pressure, but like I felt he was piecing together what was happening before it actually happened, and I have to say that was one thing I was a little bothered by, is like he seemed really calm, and like I'm wondering if they're implying he's a different type of negotiator, and it just went over my head because I'm that slow. But like, to me, I wasn't buying. Like, yeah, I get that you work in a high stress environment, like, so do a lot of people, but if someone pulls out a freaking gun, like, you're way too chill right now, man. You're just way too chill.
Yeah, I was kind of wanting him to get to one of the flight attendants and let them know. And you could see in his face once the hijacking started that he was like, I was almost there. I should have done something differently. I should have said something sooner.
Yeah, when he leans to the guys and he's like, don't do anything because, you think you're going to be so effective and you're not. And then there's like the whole, like, he's watching these people and he goes and he's like, oh, can I get my wash kit? And they're like, we didn't distribute those. Like, he's like detective putting pieces together, and I'm like, all right, Batman, like, if you got a cape and cowl, it is not negotiation tactics unless your negotiation is with your fists.
It's
aggressive negotiation.
Aggressive, yeah, there you go. There is something.
Thank you, Anakin Skywalker.
There is something about his character. And I knew there was something more to him just by the way he was casually walking to the plane, where he was obviously late. Like, he and that other runny guy, like, were the last two on the plane. He was just way too, and I feel like I with the way he was so cavalier about everything, I felt he was more like a marshal, like an air marshal.
Yeah, I was like, for a second, I was like, is he the hijacker? Because, like, he's totally Jill.
And nope. I honestly have no idea what's going on.
I also felt like they were setting us up to believe he was the hijacker when she's like, do not get on that plane. And he's like, too late. And you're like, where's the context? So definite misdirection here, but I'm not like mad about it. It's just making me have more questions that I want answered, and I want to watch the show to get those answers. So fuck you, TV, you win.
A weak point, finding the bullet in the bathroom. Think that was a little laxed. I mean, like, come on now.
The thing that bothered me about the bullet in the bathroom was, like, the guy, I don't know, he was like, well, what am I supposed to tell her? Like, oh, you know, somebody who was allowed to have a gun had a gun on the plane, and it's fine. And then the girl was like, I don't buy this. Like, what? A guy got on a plane with the gun, and then a bullet just fell out? Like, yeah, she's right. So how did it fall out of the hijacker's gun? Like,
yes. That's my query there. Like, how did that come about? Now,
I don't know. The same on the similar situation. My whole gripe with it was like, it just seems like fairly easy to explain away. At least enough. Like, I don't know. I don't see this girl being like, no, we need to investigate this shit further. This isn't enough. I don't believe this guy, and we need to find this shit out. Like, I kind of feel like they would be like, wow, that's kind of weird. I'm a little scared. I'm going to sit here. I mean, I don't know. That whole thing seemed really odd to me, just how intense she was about not letting whatever this situation is stand. And I must have missed something, like when the guy walked up to them, I guess I thought like he knew them. Like, why did he walk up to the girl in the first place?
So there was the three girls, the one that got on the plane last. As she was getting on the plane, he helped her get her bag into the overhead compartment, and their interaction was, I'm just old fashioned. And she was nervous, and so like he interacted with her before that. That's it. Outside of that, maybe he was just being more attentive to what's going on because he was one of the hijackers. Maybe. I don't know. But there was
the whole thing struck me as a bit weird, but not weird enough to not enjoy the show. Also, like, people just were interacting a lot more than I have ever seen people interact on a plane. I have never in my life seen people interact this much I haven't been on a ton of planes, but I've been on plane rides a decent amount in my life, and I have never seen people interact this much. They're just like, people are looking at each other and jumping over seats and talking, jumping at each other's conversations and stuff. And like, every time I've ever been on a plane, it's everybody trying to keep as to themselves as possible. But I've also never been on a plane this spacious before, where there's just like,
that was
everybody's got seats
on wings.
Like, that's not the planes I've been on. I've always been, a few centimeters at best away from everybody on all sides.
And I will be honest, as of late, I have been doing a little bit more flying, and it all depends where the plane is coming from. So when I leave like North Carolina, everybody on that plane knows each other. It's shocking how everybody knows each other, and they're all chit-chatty, except for me, because I am that guy. I have the window seat, I curl up into a ball, and I wait for the plane to take off and then land. Wherever else I'm coming from, I came from, Philadelphia. It was not that way. Nobody could give less of a shit about anybody else on the plane. It was awesome.
Which is weird, because then I've been the person who's on the plane, and there's always somebody who wants to fucking talk to me.
Yeah, no, that's what you got. You get the overt headphones, or you turn and always look out the window.
See, I do both. I
Yeah,
literally
the headphones
did that.
don't make a fucking difference if someone wants to talk to you.
Yeah.
I sat down to eat a sandwich in this restaurant, and I was so fucking exhausted. When the airport, I sat down, I got my headphones on, I'm looking at my phone, and this woman sits down next to me and just starts chatting me up. And me, I'm a nice guy, so I chatted her right back up, but I was like, all I'm thinking the whole time is like, I just want to be left alone. I just want to go home. Please stop talking to me.
I'm going to help you with this. You ready? You're going to follow this lead. Yo no hablo inglés. That's it. Put a quizzical look on your face, say that phrase, get up and walk away.
I couldn't walk away. I was eating a sandwich. I just ordered food.
¿Dónde está el baño?
And what if she does speak Spanish, huh?
All right,
what
then.
do I do then?
Start screaming.
Bang your head, yell at her. Yeah, this is I enjoy the hell out of this show. We are going to continue watching it. We would have probably watched more of it if like I didn't want to bleed into the next episode to talk about it here. We are going to watch this, and it's how many episodes out so far? Let's see. It's season 1. As of right now, 7 episodes are out. I'm not 100% sure if that's it. Probably not for the season, but it's so far worth every second that we've spent watching it.
Hey, I just remembered the new season of Dragon Prince dropped like out of nowhere and was really fucking good.
Oh, was it good?
Nice.
Yeah, I saw that it came
watched all
out.
that. Really fucking good. Can't wait
Good.
to see where it goes next.
Great. We got a lot of good TV, man. This is great. I mean,
We're in overload mode right now, but it's okay because there's a strike going on. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not in any rush. I mean, I'm in a rush to watch Ahsoka only because of spoilers. Like,
yeah.
it's fucking Star Wars. It's going to get the shit spoiled out of it on social media. Not that I've been spending as much time on social media because Elon Musk has officially fucked Twitter
You
so
mean
hard.
X?
It's just X. It's never going to be X. It's not X. Never was X. It's never going to be X. That's just fucking bullshit. It's Twitter, and it's always going to be Twitter. There's no shit that he could ever do to it that's going to change the fact that that's what that is. But holy
Listen,
shit,
that is some
It
X-rated
just doesn't
internet,
work
okay?
you know what he reminds me of is in Ted Lasso, the billionaire guy who comes to hire comes to hire Sam, and Sam decides he doesn't want to go on that guy's team, and then the billionaire guy just makes this obnoxious scene on the way out of the building, pretending he's shitting on everything. That's what Elon Musk reminds me of.
yeah, that's a pretty apt description right
That's
there.
the same guy that started the food fight in one of the later episodes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Horrible.
Did you see that? Like, he changed the icon to be all like marbled and distressed because like I guess the white X on the black background wasn't fucking manly enough for this fucking child. God,
No.
it's so stupid.
I don't
It just keeps
tweet.
getting dumber.
I don't look at Twitter. I can't.
I miss the old Twitter. That was a good time. I was an early adopter.
I never got super into it, but I'll tell you, I'm still able to appreciate what's been lost.
Well, yeah. I mean, having a solid, social media communication was a thing. Like, it was good, and then it just always gets turned into this horrible, disformed. Ugh.
Like,
I find myself going to Facebook more often, which is like,
we've gone
wow.
backwards.
well, yeah, we've gone backwards. I'd love to see what Blue Sky is all about, but that's still invite only.
Mm-hmm.
I have at least once a day a thought that I'm like, I would tweet that if Twitter was still a thing. I'm not going to post it on my Facebook. Like, that's just, insane. Because they're just inane thoughts that I have, and like,
That's not the place for
the group of people that I have following me and friends with me on Facebook. They're gonna like think something's wrong. But Twitter's just the Wild West, or you can say anything and it doesn't fucking matter. Or that's what it was.
Not
And now
anymore.
It's not.
Well, I'm giving a solid thumbs up for this show. It sounds like we all are in agreement. Yes.
Yeah, this
Awesome.
was a great show. Good pick, Evan. Good job.
Yahtzee.
Yeah. when we're done with the 350 other shows.
Well, you got to realize with the strike happening now, in a year's time, TV's going to go to shit. Because.
Yep.
And
we've been here.
Yeah.
This isn't our first rodeo. We remember the last strike.
Oof, that was rough. And
poor heroes.
Yeah, and so, but like, this is what happens. The worst part about the strike is reality TV gets a bigger boost because it's not scripted. No, it is. It's scripted. Nobody's that bad. Nobody's that worthless. You have to make it that way. And that is the opposite of what I want from my television.
Boy, the fact that you can believe that nobody's that worthless after all the time you spent working retail is it's really a very endearing trait.
Testament to me.
Bless you, sir.
All right. Good enough. Let's wrap this up. Kris, you got a spiel for us?
No.
Oh.
I mean, I should.
You should.
I should do a lot of
Get
things.
on it.
Hoobity boobity. Let's see here.
Hoobity boobity. Spiel.
Trivia, no. Theater near you show notes, no. That's not it. Trivia March.
Scroll.
Fascinating
Dragon.
podcasting.
God, I write a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm a writer or something. God, where in the hell was
How you doing?
episode is not-
I'm a professional writer.
Not filmed in front of a live studio audience? Something to that effect?
This week's episode is not filmed before a live studio audience, but it is fueled by feedback from listeners like you. And you can get in touch with us in a multitude of ways. We have an official Geekade Discord where there's an entire This Week's Episode channel dedicated to all things TV talk. And of course, the regular Geekade social media accounts linked to in the show notes. The four of us can be found in various ways. Wow, I guess I should rewrite this since Twitter's all fucked now. You know what? Fuck it. Yeah, you can read my work at StoneAgeGamer.com and in the pages of Nintendo Force magazine. Karen, where can people find you?
They can find me at STM Stitches on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Etsy.
And where can people find you?
Just go to my website, angelafarnot.com.
And Evan, where can people not find you?
Actually, I'm working on some stuff for Tales of Cape Fear again, so hopefully another big thing is coming soon. So head over there, talesofcapefear.com.
Hooray. If you need to know more about the shows we discussed tonight or what we'll be watching in the future, have a look at our show notes. If you have any other questions at all, we can always be reached at mail@geekade.com. Just include the words this week's episode in the subject line so we know who you're trying to reach. This show is available anywhere fine podcasts are sold, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and more. And wherever you decide to listen, please like, comment, subscribe, and leave reviews because any and all feedback is welcome and appreciated. Again, as always, keep your eyes on geekade.com for fresh, original content. Back to you, Evan.
All right, we have discussed it during the break. Kris, it is your choice. What is our homework this week?
Well, I had an answer, and I've just decided to change it. I just need to find what episode it is.
You're audibling to yourself.
Yeah, right. So I was thinking, you know what? I'd really like to finish and then discuss Shoresy, but I'm pretty sure you guys already watched that, right?
Yes. But we will watch it again. Season 2 is coming out, so you guys need to watch that.
Well, we're already a couple episodes into it, but I'm trying to figure out. I need to know what episode that is. Karen just quoted it. I was like, we haven't talked about Sports Night in forever, and I've been kind of itching to rewatch that show. So what episode does it say, hi, I'm a professional writer?
Oh, God, I don't know.
That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. Casey says it, right? Mm-hmm. Casey says it to Dan.
Yep.
And he fucks something up and he says, hi, I'm a professional writer. I quote that all the time. I love Sports Night. It's a show that Karen introduced me to. It's an early Aaron Sorkin show, and it's just a fucking delight. And I've rewatched it dozens and dozens of times over the years. And I've just been kind of having that itch again, and I can't figure out what episode that is. I feel like we've talked about this show on this show before, but I think we've only talked about like the Christmas episode or something.
We have discussed Sorkin. I feel like we've
discussed
covered,
Sorkin something, yeah.
I feel like we've covered just about every Sorkin, but hey, whatever you...
Well, yeah. Just which episode, right? We didn't cover the entire show. We covered an episode.
Right.
It's Rebecca is the episode.
Oh, it's Rebecca. Okay, cool. Which episode is that? The episode
Season 1, episode 14.
There you go. We're going to watch season 1, episode 14 of Sports Night because they're all good ones, Pinky.
All right.
And you know what? If you need to watch the previous episodes, then you should do that too because it's a damn good show. It's a half-hour
Probably
comedy.
will.
It's well worth your time.
All right, there you go. There's your homework. That's it. That's all we got. Once again, thank you for joining us here on this week's episode. I'm Evan.
I'm Angie.
I'm Karen.
God damn it!
Try it again.
I'm Evan.
I'm Angie.
I'm Karen.
I challenge you to a dance-off.
Good night.
That's not how that show ends. I'm going to be very disappointed.
And this concludes our broadcast day.